What's up everyone, Sultry Seagull here with the next video in the A-10C tutorials. Today we're going to be doing ILS and TACAN navigation, or should I say TACAN navigation to the airfield and then ILS landings. So what we're going to do first here is we're going to put the aircraft into an orbit above the clouds here, and we're going to start by setting up all our goodies for the landing. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go across to the CDU panel here, and we're going to click the nav button here, and we're going to go to the divert button, and we're going to select the airfield that we want to land at today. That's going to be Cobuletti. You can see that here, and we're going to select that, and this is going to give us all the relevant info for that airfield. So we're going to use that to now set up our ILS, which is here, and our TACAN, which is here. So we'll start with the TACAN. Our TACAN frequency is 67, and that'll be 67 X-ray. We've already got X-ray set here. So with using the scroll wheel on our mouse, we're going to scroll up to 6 on this dial, and to 7 on this dial, and we're going to right click on this dial here to turn on our TACAN. We're going to switch it to TR for transmit and receive. Okay, that'll give us ranging information as well as locating information. So then we're going to go up to our ILS, and we're going to put in our ILS frequency, which is 111.50. So we're going to do that again using the scroll button on this dial. We're going to set it up to 111. Then .50, we're going to scroll down on this dial, and then we're going to, hold on, let's move over for a better view. We're going to turn on our ILS by right clicking on this dial here, and you'll see the little notch move over there. So that's our ILS and TACAN on and ready to go. We're going to be landing on runway 7 on Cobuletti, which is 07, so that's basically we need to be on a heading of 07 more or less in order to line up with the runway. Now you can get like true heading versus magnetic heading and whatnot, and to be honest, just putting in 070 in our course set is good enough because it gets you close enough to the ILS glide slope, so that then you can use the ILS to get you right onto the glide slope. So using our course set here, we're going to go up to our center console. These are basically the two instruments we're going to be relying on for our navigation and landing in zero visibility conditions. So we're going to set our course to 070 here. Scroll up there. And there we go, that's set. And we're going to then hit on the bottom here, we're going to hit TACAN because that's what we're going to use initially to navigate onto that course heading. So what this is going to do is it's picked up the TACAN transceiver at the airfield, and using this course setting, what it's going to do is it's going to navigate us onto a flight path that would take us directly to that TACAN station with a heading of 070. So it will line us up pretty much right on with the runway. Then once we get within 5 nautical miles of the runway, we're going to turn off the TACAN and switch to the ILS, which we've set up already. And then with that, we will then use this display here to get us onto the glide slope. So how we'll do that is, you can see we've got one yellow bar here, a vertical bar. We're essentially using two bars, one horizontal and one yellow, and one vertical, both of them are yellow, to keep us onto the glide slope and get us directly lined up with the runway and on the right descent rate to touch down safely. So we'll be using essentially what we want to do is keep the vertical yellow line and the horizontal yellow line centered in the middle of this display, and that will then mean that we are directly in line with the runway. Now I don't worry too much about the horizontal line. My main concern is get the vertical line lined up, because that basically gets you lined up correctly with the runway. the descent rate and whatnot can fluctuate a bit and will fluctuate a bit. So don't stress too much if that's not perfectly aligned with the center of the display. Okay, so that's it. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves lined up with our approach before we start descending through the clouds, and get ourselves also set up for landing. So we'll start dropping speed, get our flaps down, get our gear down, and then we'll get on course and we will start descending through the clouds towards Kobuleti runway. Now we can just have a quick look at the TAD here. So if we make that soy as well and switch it to AXP1, zoom out a bit there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We can see basically we're orbiting just off Batumi here, and we need to go, using the slew keys here, we need to head to Kobuleti, which is now marked here on our TAD as our active waypoint. So this means that we have our navigational information here. We've got Kobuleti is 29 nautical miles away, and we've also got a waypoint set there that we can use for locating it as well. So it'll be just an added tool we can use along with these displays below, and it basically selects Kobuleti as a waypoint as soon as you select it in the divert page. It does that automatically. Okay, so enough talk, let's get on with it. So we're going to autopilot off, and we're going to turn back onto our heading, start bleeding off airspeed. Also, another thing we can do is we can brighten our HUD using this rocker switch on the front dash, which is quite helpful when it's bright like this. It's about as much as we can get, but it's still an improvement on what it was. Okay, so see our course line in the bottom display there, off to our left. So we're going to adjust our heading so that we're heading directly towards that course line. We can deploy our flaps now because we've lost enough airspeed. We're not in a rush here. Key thing with these sort of landings is just to take your time and concentrate on getting correctly set up for the landing. We're going to wait until we're on the right heading before we drop our gear. So we're heading directly towards an intersect with our course line that we've plotted. You can see that down here. And we can start descending now as well. We might descend into the clouds before we make our final turn, but we're still at a pretty high altitude, so it's not really an issue. What we're going to do now as well is radio into Kobuleti and let them know that we're coming in. We're going to start descending into the cloud now because we're pretty high still. As I said, it also helps that we're over the ocean. biggest thing with these sort of landings is just trusting your instruments. And also just having confidence in that, in having set everything up correctly. Because the moment you start doubting what your instruments are telling you, things are going to go wrong. Okay, you can see our course lines moving closer towards us. So we're going to start turning onto the right heading now. Level out again, let's get a bit closer to the course line. "22 miles out from the airfield, so we've still got a fair amount of distance to play with. Keep descending at this rate, we should be okay. There we go. Line ourselves up. Yep. There we go. Take a little bit left. We'll continue this descent. We probably can level off a bit here. 1,000 feet. We're just going to get a little bit shallow. Turn on a bit again. We'll use autopilot to just hold that. A bit more power just to maintain our speed. Yeah, that's fine. 15 miles out. Autopilot off. Keep ourselves lined up pretty good. Drop out there now. Ten miles out. see if we can pick up the Tacan ILS now out of interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to correct on. I'm going to hit the autopilot and I'm going to just switch over now. Yeah, I think we do have it. So it's telling us we need to shift right a fair bit. Seven miles out. So as you can see, we're a little bit off with where I'm assuming this. We're going to work with ILS actually transmitting correctly now, but basically we're a fair bit off course for the glide slope. So we're going to go across that. Here we go. That's it. Turning back now, you can see the vertical yellow bar is shifted. And that should have us lined up perfectly. 5 miles and we're going to start descending now a lot quicker. Gear is down, flaps are down. Miles out, 2,000 feet, we're a bit high. We're going to drop a fair amount of altitude now. We're over ocean, just coming over land now. Let's just get down there. Three miles. As you can see, we don't have the horizontal line yet, giving us info. So I think we're probably quite high off our glide slope, but we're correcting now. Yeah, there we go. You see that tone change there? I'm going to pick up the glide path now. There we go. Two miles out, there we go, there's our runway. Look at that.
Altitude, altitude.
A bit more power, we're going a bit slow. But then you get this slow today because there you go, you see the horizontal line there? There we go, on glide slope. And touchdown. Deploy air brakes. Air brakes out. As we're steering on, and we can start tapping the brakes. And there we have it, guys. As you can see, just takes a bit of practice, and I would say, as I said earlier, two main things. One, trust your instruments and know how to set that shit up so that you can have confidence in your instruments are telling you. And second, give yourself plenty of time and don't rush it. Give yourself plenty of space, plenty of distance to get lined up nicely with the airfield, and just take it nice and slow. And as you can see, they're lined up pretty perfectly with the runway. Okay guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week for the next video in the series. Hope everyone's staying nice and safe up there with everything that's going on. Yeah, thanks again guys. Throw some comments down there. Any input, questions, feel free to post in the comments, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.